Huh. Okay. That's weird. Let's go ahead and answer this. Hello?
Is the lazy reviewer there?
This is he. How can I help you?
This is Just Right Cable letting you know you haven't paid your bill this month and we really need you to pay it, sir.
What? I can't hear you. You're breaking up. Yeah, I just can't hear you, man. What's going on?
I know you're just making that noise yourself.
I don't know what you're talking. I'm breaking. No, and I'll call you back later. Bye. Yeah, see you. Boop. I need another job.
Passenger located on 4th Street.
We got one.
Please proceed to the
Alright,
yellow
so
highlighted highway.
first Uber drive,
Drive
let's
safely.
go. It's gonna be a blast. Oh my God, we're gonna die! Oh no! Oh God! Please don't! Hey everyone, and another happy, lazy Sunday to you, my lovely weekend warriors. I hope the weekend has been good to y'all, and if not, sit back, relax, and let me entertain you for a moment. This weekend's movie brings up a pretty interesting thought, and that is, what kind of crazy stuff do Uber drivers really deal with? I'm sure it's not all sunshine and rainbows as many of the commercials and pictures on the website make it seem to be. I'm sure these poor bastards have to deal with some serious shit on a nightly basis.
Do you see this?
You shut the fuck up. No one's fucking talking to you. Shut the fuck up.
People are allowed to park in this car, park their cars.
Roger!
Those poor people.
Why don't we get into this one? Stuber, starring Kumail Nanjiani, Dave Bautista, and I am so sorry if I butcher this name. Uwais? Yeah, right? Anyways, he is a very well-known action stuntman, mostly known for his amazing fight choreography in the 2011 action thriller, The Raid. Stuber also features Natalie Morales and Betty Gilpin, who you might know from Netflix's original series, Glow. This story follows our main characters, Stu and Detective Vic Manning. Our poor little Stu is a cashier for a local sporting goods store where he is dealing with constant abuse from his manager and co-workers. But to add salt to the wound, he is also working a part-time job as an Uber driver where he tries to make his passengers' experience the best that it possibly can be in order to earn that coveted 5-star rating. But unfortunately, every person he gets just doesn't seem to like him, and this is where he runs into Bautista's character, Detective Vic Manning, who is hot on the tails of an international drug boss named Tejo, played by Uwais. So the two men have to try to stop Tejo while trying to get those sweet, sweet 5 stars. Now, Kumail Nanjiani has become one of my favorite comedians as of late because he's just so much fun to watch. He was Men in Black International Saving Grace, where he played Pawnee, this little alien royal guard, and he was absolutely hilarious in that movie.
I'm not interested in a subject.
Too late. It's done. I already pledged the loyalty. I wish you'd said no before.
So when I saw reports about this movie, it made me all the more interested to hear that he was going to be paired with Bautista in his first full comedy movie. But how did Stuber do? Well, let's get into the positives. And this movie is, it's definitely something else, I'm gonna tell you that right now. I mean, it was pretty funny, and that mostly has to do with the pairing of Nanjiani and Bautista. This movie has quite a few blips of some excellent chemistry radiating off these two guys. I mean, anytime they were together, the movie got infinitely funnier. There was this one scene that had me dying with the amount of slapsticky humor that Nanjiani and Bautista were performing against each other. And that's because Nanjiani and Bautista both just mesh well together. They exhibit some serious collaboration between one another. So take some notes, Hollywood. If you want a good comedy, you need good chemistry. So
Learn some chemistry, honey. Learn some chemistry.
Stuber also does a good job of establishing each character because we get to see a little bit of background information for both Stu and Vic, which helps us really understand where each one is in their lives. You know, poor Stu is the walking embodiment of an average house doormat where people just pretty much walk all over him, and Vic is an obsessed detective who wants to see Tejo brought to justice and doesn't care who gets in his way. And this was just a very welcomed addition to the movie because it never really slows it down. It has this really natural flow, and that's pretty much where my praises of the movie ends. We've got great comedy from Dave Bautista and Nanjiani. I love how we get to establish these characters, really build up their background, so this way we get to sympathize with them a little bit more. There are some major problems with it. First, we have to talk about Dave Bautista's performance. Now, I think he does an excellent job as Drax in Guardians of the Galaxy, as it really doesn't require him to give much for his performances, but here, when we have his solo scenes, he just spends most of the time kind of mumbling and grunting many of his lines, and there just seemed to be very little emotion or energy really being put into his performances. But, I mean, once we got into the action scenes, he did seem to get a little bit better, and I also believe it just took a little while for him to get really comfortable. So once he started working with Nanjiani, you could see him start to loosen up, and his performances did get a little bit better, but for the most part, they were pretty bland, and he was just kind of like robotically saying his lines. But the producers of this movie really didn't do his character any justice. I just feel like they made him really unlikable. And this sucks because it's supposed to be a fun comedy, but his character just seems like a real asshole. And I get why he is the way he is in the movie. I can't give away any spoilers, but for the most part, he doesn't care about anybody but this case, and it makes it really hard to kind of get invested in him when he's just pretty much treating everybody like garbage. Also, a lot of the action was really hard to make out because he constantly kept shaking the camera, and I hate shaky cam action. It is a super cheap way to hide terrible choreography and to make things look more interesting and more action-packed than it actually is. I mean, take a look at this. Oh, look at me pouring my cereal. It's so action-packed. It's so crazy. But when you have an amazing professional like Aiko, you need to let him do his thing. I mean, look at this scene from Mile 22. Now look at this scene from Stuber. Doing this with a pro like Aiko is like taking a fine bottle of Pappy Van Winkle bourbon and mixing it with Coke? You can't do that. You have to admire the fine bourbon. So with all of that being said, I'm giving Stuber a C. It was funny enough, and the chemistry between Kumail and Bautista is really good, but like I said, a lot of the humor in most cases just really didn't work for me, and there was some sloppy editing with the action that ruined many of the scenes. And if they had just let Aiko go ahead and choreograph a lot of the action scenes, and the writing was just a little bit better, this movie could have been so much more bigger. But I'm assuming it was just probably I came in with very high expectations, and it just kind of fell flat for me. Well, that's it for the review, you guys, but let's talk about it. Have you seen Stuber? Did you think it was freaking hilarious, or did you think it was kind of bland? Put your thoughts in the comment section down below, and it would really help this channel out if you give this video a little bit of love by hitting that thumbs up button. And if you would like to see more of my reviews, subscribe to my channel by clicking on that subscribe button, and you'll get notifications anytime I release a new video. Thank you guys for joining me, and I hope you have an amazing rest of the weekend, and I'll see you next time.